This is Chet Holmgren, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Ajay Mitchell, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Alex Crusoe, and I'm down to dunk.
It's like baby bottle pop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is Adam Flagler, and I'm down to dunk.
Hey, it's Isaiah Hartenstein, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Kason Wallace, and I'm down to dunk.
I can't spell Lucas. Hey, how do you spell Lucas? How do you spell Lucas?
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
This is Nikola Topic, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Dylan Jones, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Isaiah Joe, and I'm down to dunk.
And there's probably like 50 to 75 Beanie Babies.
Give me like your top 3 Pokemon.
Brother, I can't even name.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
Sometimes the way his brain works is, it leaves a lot to be desired.
This is Kenrich Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
Charmander.
Yeah.
Charmander. Or you're more of a Charmeleon guy.
Charmeleon.
This is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
Schlecht. You know what it means? Yeah.
That means like bad.
It means bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, it was a good interview, so it wasn't bad.
JDub, year 3, and I'm down to dunk for the 3rd time. Thank you.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me today is nobody. Actually, it's not nobody. It's you guys. You guys are helping me out by giving me questions to answer. If you're watching live, you can ask questions in the chat. I am going to stream for a little while this morning, streaming here on a Sunday morning. One, because I got sick, and Michele and I had planned to kind of batch record a couple episodes. Michele is on vacation, so shout out to Michele. And we were supposed to record yesterday, couldn't because it didn't feel good, but back in business now, and going to record today because, frankly, my Monday is very busy. And so wanted to get you guys an episode. Before we get to your questions, I want to tell you about my friends Aaron and Drew Reese of Shelter Insurance. You can contact Aaron, call or text him, 405-773-5500, or Drew, 405-478-7714. Listen, last year, Shelter Insurance ranked number 1 on the Forbes list of the world's best auto insurance companies, and right here in Oklahoma, they're ranked number 1 for customer satisfaction by JD Power. 6 out of the last 7 years. Let's make it 8. But honestly, what you really need to know about these guys is that they're just good guys. They're trustworthy. And you should give them a call or text today. Support the people that support Down to Dunk. All right. It's August 17th. Literally almost zero NBA news out there. So this is where you get mailbags. This is where we just get to chat. So again, if you're watching live, feel free to ask questions in the chat. If not, here we go. First question from my good friend Brian Porter. He asks, what can the Thunder improve the most for the playoffs this year? I mean, right off the top of my head, I think getting the playoff experience that they had was very important. There's 2 games in particular that I think are heavy on the hearts of Thunder fans, and it's game 1 of the second round against Denver. The game, I mean, they had that game. Don't go back and watch it, but you remember, it was really rough. That was a really rough ending to the game. I think that experiencing that will hopefully allow for things like that not to happen. And then game 1 against Indiana, just 2 games that it felt like were kind of given away. And so I do think that you have the experience of not having those goofs in the playoffs. I think that is vital. You know, sometimes you have to go through it. And that's why most teams that are as young as the Thunder don't win the title. They just had one of the biggest margins for error maybe that we've seen in a very long time for a team, and we're able to overcome it because of that. But a lot of times games like that will bite you, and you can't come back from it. Again, the Thunder are the exception to so many rules throughout NBA history, including that one. Really, the way that they can improve the most is shooting from within the team. Not that they need to go get shooters. It's just that they need guys to shoot like we know they can. I mean, the players that shot above 36% from three during the playoffs were as follows. Jay Will, 36%. Aaron Wiggins, 36%. Ajay Mitchell, and what has to be very low. Yeah, it's 0.4 makes per game. 38%. Isaiah Joe was 41%, but only on 2.7 attempts. An area that if Isaiah Joe's on this team in the playoffs next year, that number's got to be higher than 2.7. That's way too low. Alex Caruso, of course, 41% on 3.9 attempts per game. The guy saved the Thunder's butts 100 times. Now, the other players, Dort, 34%. Cason Wallace, 32%. JDub, 30%, which we know a lot of it was the wrist. And he took 5 per game, which is the second most on the team. Still impressive. The further we get away from that, like the more impressive it gets every day that JDub did all of that on a bum wrist. It's unreal. Chet, 29%. Shea, 28%. And then Kenrich, 20%. Isaiah Hartenstein didn't take 3. That to me is the biggest area of improvement right there. That's the biggest one. I think if you're making threes, I think your offense gets less stagnant. I think that you can allow more spacing. I think that one of the other things is just like better passing, which I think will come along as well. But it will help to make shots. When your best players are making shots from the perimeter, it opens up so much. So to me, like that is like an easy, low-hanging fruit. This is what needs to be improved on next year. And some of it could just be comfortability. Some of it could be risks that needed operated on. Could be a lot of things. But to me, that's the one. From at Bullerjack, another one of my friends, Alex Bullerjack. What are the 2 best types of Pop-Tarts? I think this came from a tweet that I put out there. Fastback Breakfast. Keith Parrish did a pod and mentioned that the best kind of Pop-Tart is the unfrosted brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart, which I agreed with. I agree. Unfrosted, the best. Can't really find them. We were at Walmart. Not that I was going to buy them, but I just looked to see if they had them. Didn't have them. That may be an unpopular opinion, even though Caitlin Cooper and I and Keith Parrish all share the same favorite. That is probably my favorite. I'm looking at the Pop-Tarts website, which beautiful website, by the way. I'm looking. There's so many that I just would not eat at all. And I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion as well. Frosted cherry is also delightful. It's a delightful Pop-Tart. It's great. I also have a Pop-Tart story from high school that maybe I'll share sometime on the pod. But yeah, those are my 2 favorites. Unfrosted brown sugar cinnamon and frosted cherry. 2 favorites. From longtime listener, friend of the show, Ben Elephant King. Who should Cason dunk on this year? Wouldn't it be the greatest? I mean, it's already going to be the greatest day because the Thunder are going to get their rings and Kevin has to watch. But how incredible would it be if Isaiah Hartenstein or Chet blocks a shot, gets the ball into the hands of Cason Wallace. Cason Wallace on the break, all alone except Kevin Durant is there at the rim. And Cason Wallace just yams on Kevin Durant in game 1. Wouldn't that be the greatest? Let me know. Wouldn't that be the greatest? Okay. From at longtime listener, sports fan 405, at 405 fan. Going back to your discussion last Wednesday, this is the pod with Yossi Goslin. If you guys haven't watched that, go watch it. Yossi's great. Very helpful guy when it comes to salary cap stuff. Why wouldn't you keep your best players who prove that they could get it done in the playoffs if you can. They still go 9 to 10 deep and create space, and they create space for Sam to find more of the guys that you want to keep for cheap. He has another tweet. I know we've gotten attached to the bottom half of the roster too, but to me, if you can keep your best players, that has to be the first priority. Chet at the 5 is our best lineup, but having a bigger big next to him, who's really good, J. Will and Sorber are far from proven, is necessary in my opinion. I think that's a path. I think there's a lot of paths that they can take. I don't even think that they know what path they're going to take yet. A lot of it just depends on the development of players this year. And, we'll see. I don't disagree with your point. I just know like the easiest path that you can see is figuring out something to do with Hartenstein and then bringing Sorber in. Sorber has a chance to be really good. Yes, he's absolutely unproven. Is he even going to have a chance to prove everything he needs to prove in order to let Hartenstein go? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It's possible that he does. It's possible that we get to the end of the season and we're like, man, we didn't get to see enough of him. He wasn't in good enough shape to start the season. Whatever the storyline was. We don't know. We just don't know. But if you can keep your top guys in minutes in the playoffs, minutes per game, Shea, Dub, Chet locked up. Dort still on contract. Alex Caruso extended. Cason Wallace will be up for extension. Isaiah Hartenstein was 7th at 22.4 minutes per game. And then you have guys like Wiggins, Joe, Kenrich, J. Will, AJ. So, yeah, I get it. Like, if you can keep your top 7 together, totally. But you also have to leave room and have the imagination enough to know that other guys could step into those roles. It's a very deep team. And they're continuing to draft guys too that can step into those roles. We just don't know who are they going to get in the 26th draft. That could impact things as well. So yes, does it make the most sense to keep your top 7 guys? Sure. Financially, can you make it work the other way is another question. Also know that Wiggins' contract is going to be outrageously valuable. It's going to be outrageously valuable as time goes on because I think he's a guy that can still improve as well. Okay. From JPOSU, how many of the players ranked ahead of Ajay Mitchell in Sam Vecini's 24 redraft would you actually trade? Trade AJ for. That's a really good question. Let me pull this up because it's a fun question. All right, let's see. For the Thunder, who would I trade AJ for? So the top 2, Stephon Castle, Reese Shea, McCain. I would probably say yes to all 3 of those to trade AJ for. Castle is a question because he doesn't shoot it well enough yet, but he does everything else well enough coming off the bench. I would feel pretty confident in him. Reese Shea is very interesting. That's a kind of archetype of player the Thunder don't really have. Yeah, that would be cool. Jared McCain, in his short stint in the league last year before he got injured, showed a lot. He was very good. I think McCain is an easy one. Number 4, Reed Shepherd. I would take the quote unquote risk and trade for Reed because I think Houston was one of the worst situations for him to go to. I don't think that team, I don't think that coaching staff was ready to take on a smaller point guard that while he is like a defensive playmaker, he's not going to be something that's going to hold up defensively a ton. And that's not the type of guy that the Rockets like to play. So he's kind of anti-Rocket in a lot of ways. I think for the Thunder, Reed would be awesome. I think he would rock in Oklahoma City. I think he's the exact kind of guy. He's really smart, can really shoot it. Yes. Donovan Clingan. Now this is interesting because it kind of bleeds into the previous question. Would you trust Clingan over Sorber? I think the answer today is yes. We'll see where things are in the future. I probably would. Modest Buzelis, yes. Ron Holland, another interesting one. I would probably, I mean, it's hard. I would probably not for Ron Holland. I just need a guy that can shoot it a little bit better than Ron did. Zach Edey, we all know where I'm not the biggest Zach Edey guy. I would say no. Jalen Wells for AJ, I feel like that is an interesting one for sure. I would probably say yes to that. Khalil Ware, I would say no for OKC. Alex Sarr is the last one. I would probably say no on Sarr. Just because he just doesn't do, and Vicini talked about this on his podcast recently, he just doesn't do the things you need guys to do. Like, I just don't think he could play for a championship level team yet. Same with Khalil Ware. I don't think either one of those guys can play for a championship team today. So most of them I would probably trade him for. Some of them I wouldn't. But AJ's really good. It's incredible that we're a year removed and one of the smartest guys in the draft at doing all of this stuff. My friend Sam Vicini that put together this redraft put him at 12. I mean, that's incredible. So good on the other Sam Presti and his crew for finding him. And then Topic at 14. And that's pretty cool. And we're still in wait and see mode with Topic. So pretty incredible. Okay. Great question so far, everybody. Good job. At Z Dwyer 2, following the championship run, what do you make of Mark as a playoff coach? There seem to be a few key missteps, like the fouling in Denver game 1, pulling Chet in overtime for game 3 against Denver, and changing the starting lineup in game 1 in the finals. But ultimately, we got the job done. I mean, how could you not feel incredibly confident in this guy, in Mark Daigneault? How could you not? Sure, there were missteps. There are missteps from every coach, from every single coach. The guy's 40 years old. He grew up as a professional in this organization. He knows these players better than anybody. He connects with them on a very deep level. And then we're talking about decisions made in the playoffs. Yeah, there's I'm sure there's things that have kept him up at night or that have made him rethink on how to approach things. Absolutely. Basketball, and he says this, basketball is imperfect, you know? Like, you don't need to be perfect to be a good playoff coach. And the thing that he did, that it's like the same quality that he possesses, the players possess as well, which is resilience. And he preaches it all the time and he practices it all the time, is resilience. And truly what you want from an NBA coach for the playoffs is somebody who's resilient. Somebody who's not going to crumble as things get harder, which he did not. They didn't ever lose 2 consecutive games. The games that they did lose in rough fashion were mostly either game 1 or game 3. And I feel like they got better as series went on. Save for game 6 in Indianapolis that I ridiculously traveled to, and because I thought maybe they win the title, and then yep. But I will say the resiliency that Mark has, not only himself, but that he's kind of ingrained on this team, is tremendous. And so I think that Mark is a guy that, again, like, how many coaches would you trade Mark for today? I mean, my answer is 0. Like 0. So, yeah, I think he did a tremendous job, and he's the kind of guy that you want, leading your team, leading your organization. So, I think he's an incredible playoff coach. Does it mean he's perfect? No. Does it mean that he's going to be perfect next time? No. Will he be better next year? You can almost count on it. The guy's a crazy worker. Let's see. At Westvich wants to know, give me a better Thunder Marvel tattoo setup than Presti as Nick Fury, Russ as the Hulk, Shea as Thor, with room for Dub as Cap, and Chet in the Hulk Buster armor later if success continues. I need the L-Man for this one. I need the L-Man for that one. Maybe we'll ask it again for Friday. Okay. Asking for Friday. Johnny Ho 34, top 5 power rankings of your rotation of memes. You don't want this. Carl Winslow, Topic Sass face. The Kenneth, the water bottle. He does this every Friday. Let's hear it. Carl Winslow and the water bottle one are definitely my top 2. Incredible. At NBA Miffed, what does a successful regular season look like this year? I'm trying to find something to root for rather than just waiting for the finals now and that we are a team that wins championships. 70 wins, young player development. What is it? Yeah, I think successful. Listen, this team is going to be successful. A lot of it is, can they improve on the margins? Can they find ways? You've had it in their young player development. Can you find ways to develop Topic, Ajay Mitchell, Thomas Sorber? Those are huge for them, is if they can find ways to develop them. Brooks Barnheiser as well should be mentioned in that discussion. So can they find minutes for those guys? Are they any good? Are they guys that can contribute to a championship level team yet? Which I think AJ, the answer is yes. The others, we just don't know. I think those are levels of success that you can have. Wins is a tough one. A lot of that is dependent on who's healthy, what happens at different parts of the schedule. I think this team is going to win somewhere in the 60s, is what I would guess. I would not put the bar at 70 wins for a successful season, because if they won 66 games, it's incredibly successful. And Thunder won 68 last year. The previous number of wins that was the record for the Thunder was 60. So yeah, anything above 60 is outrageously successful. I mean, as long as you're in the top 2 or 3 in the conference, home court advantage in the first round. I mean, to me, I think the Thunder are head and shoulders above most every team in the league when it comes to regular season. Now, will it play out that way? We don't know. Do the Thunder treat the regular season differently now that they've won the title? We also don't know that question. So success is going to be measured on the margins, I think, this year more than ever, because they've answered the big questions. They've won the whole thing. A lot of the questions lingering around the Thunder last year is JDub the second best scorer? I kind of thought he was all along. Proved that, yes, he was. What are the big questions? Chet's health is a big one. Like, can we get another healthy season of Chet Holmgren? It's things like that, I think, are the measures of success. Truly, the biggest measure of success is playing up to your potential in the regular season and being healthy going into the playoffs. That, to me, is like the biggest measure of success for the regular season. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to answer more questions and have a quick little ad read. So we'll be right back. And we're back. After that quick break, I want to tell you about my friends at Ring Family Dentistry. They take a straightforward and honest approach to dental care. Doctors Phil and Brennan Ring believe in keeping what's healthy, fixing what's not, and replacing what truly needs it. No pressure, no upselling, just clear explanations, thoughtful recommendations, and decisions that are always up to you. Ring Family Dentistry is a true family practice with a laid-back vibe, modern tech, and high-quality work, including same-day crowns, even for your front teeth, plus implants, bridges, root canals, and clear aligner therapy, all offered in-house. Call or schedule your appointment today, 405. Well, probably not today, not on Sunday, but Monday. Yes, give them a call, 405 621 1555, or make an appointment online, which do that any day at ringfamilydentistry.com. Support the people that support Down to Dunk. All right, next question from at JohnnyHo34. Zach Lowe always used to interview the championship coach each year. Think you can get Mark before he does? Boy, probably not. I don't know if that's me just giving up, but I would, you guys know this. I would love to interview Mark Daigneault on this podcast. It is a bucket list item. I would like to do it before I die. That's what it means. Okay. Not only like to, I really want to. Okay. Really want to interview Mark Daigneault. Just to tell, I would love for him to, in his words, tell his story, because it's an incredible one. And I would love to hear his perspective on a lot of things that happened this past year. It would be incredible. I don't know that Mark will do it, period. I just don't know that he will. That's just part of Mark's personality. It's like he just doesn't want things to be about himself. It's kind of the way that I think about it. Which is great, which is part of what makes Mark Mark. And he's incredible. All right, next one. At Sooner Sensei. We share our Shaq fandom. Oh, nice. What was your favorite in-game Shaq moment and non-game Shaq moment? In-game, hard to beat, pulling the goal down in Orlando. That was cool. Non-game, breaking down the backboard with Ahmad Rashad, followed by Ahmad saying, "That all you got?" Those are good. I think the Kobe Shaq alley-oop against the Blazers in the playoffs was pretty incredible. Yes, I mean, honestly, a lot of those Orlando dunks, surely when he broke the backboard, where he pulled the goal down, where it didn't necessarily break the backboard, but just the league, not only the players having to get used to playing against this guy, but the equipment as well, not being ready for Shaquille O'Neal, incredible, just incredible. Off the court moments. I mean, I recently got to talk to Shaq again in person. So I have like the peanut butter story, which I think most of you have heard. And then I got to talk to Shaq and reiterate, like, I'm the guy that won this peanut butter challenge here in Oklahoma City. Big smile, took a selfie. And luckily the guy behind me, who is just a fan, was taking a video at the time of Shaq and happened to catch it. And then he sent it to me, which is like, the best. I'm so grateful. Just getting to meet the big fella was unbelievable. At BSWAT1531, do you see JDub as having a similar skill set to Kawhi? What are your thoughts on this comparison? I think this is a very interesting comp. Now, the things that Kawhi has that JDub does not have at this point, Kawhi is just a taller guy. I think is one. He's just a little bit taller. But I do think when we're talking about comparisons for JDub, it's probably one of the better ones, because he's a guy that is all defense. Year 3, he was all defensive second team. Kawhi was. Same for JDub, all defense second team in year 3. Let's see. It took Kawhi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to make an all-star team. So the following year, he was all defensive first team, and he won defensive player of the year in his 4th year. So Kawhi was also a little younger when he was drafted, and like was kind of more eased into a role for San Antonio. But I do like the comp. I think that offensively, JDub is just a little bit of smoother, less robotic player. Not that made Kawhi any worse. Kawhi, at his peak, his first year with the Clippers, averaged 27 points per game. I mean, the guy is super good. Super, super good. So I like the comp. I'm here for that comp. I think that JDub has that kind of ceiling where Kawhi was thought of as one of the 5 best players, maybe 3 best players in the league at one point. I honestly think JDub has that kind of trajectory. When you look at where he's at in year 3, first All-Star game, All-NBA third team, All-Defense second team, 21-5-5 competitor, scored 40 in the finals. He's on a very short list of guys that have ever done that. NBA champion in year 3. So I think sky's the limit. I think offensively he could hit a higher point. Now, is he going to have the same numbers that Kawhi did? Probably not as long as he's playing with Shea. But he could. I mean, he is the Scottie Pippen to Shea's Michael Jordan. Like, that is like the new era there. And luckily they have Chet and alongside them as well. I truly believe this is a special team. And even like being able to approach a Kawhi for JDub, kind of comp. Yeah, incredible. That's just incredible. Let's see. James Mattingly, 1352 in the chat. Question from the chat. He says, I think Kaysen has more potential than Denny Avdia. If you were an expansion team, who would you pick? That's tough. It's tough because they've been in such different situations. Denny was on these bad Wizards teams for years. And then he was really good for Portland. Last year, he averaged 16.9 points per game, 7 boards, 4 assists. I mean, like, the counting stats there are tremendous compared to what Kaysen was able to do. Now, Kaysen's younger. Kaysen has a much more limited opportunity as a guard for a contending team. His responsibilities are much smaller than what Denny's are. It's hard to make the comp. Now, the thing that Denny has that Kaysen doesn't have is that Denny's near 6'10". He's big. And he's super skilled, can really pass it. And then the thing that's really awesome for Denny is that he's on this declining contract where he's at 14.3 this year, this coming season, the 25-26, and 26-27, he's on 13.1, then 27-28, it's 11.8. Just an incredible deal. And if you're an expansion team, not that it would be neither are bad. Like, it's good to have them, but I would bet a lot that Kaysen's going to make a lot more money than that. Not that it'll matter that much to an expansion team, but just having a player that's as good as Denny, having the flexibility, I think, is pretty key. But we also haven't seen what Kaysen can do in a bigger role like that. So, yeah, it's a good question, though. I do think that we've only seen like the tip of the iceberg of what Kaysen Wallace is capable of. So, at Stone Cold S. Adams, is Al Baby Cakes doing a fantasy Premier League this season? He isn't on Twitter, and the app update means I need to rejoin the league. I have no idea. Alex, if you're listening, let Stone Cold S. Adams know. At Totes McDuck, if this season ends up being CP3's last season, is there a good way OKC can honor his time with both teams? Can they hang a retired jersey from another team? I've been thinking it'd be cool to have his OKC Hornets jersey up, assuming the Pelicans retire it. Oh, man. I've had this question asked to me before, maybe from you. I don't know that there's a way. I mean, he played one season for the Thunder. And I know that there's like an Oklahoma City element to it. I think that it's kind of a strange one though, because if we're talking about um, a way to honor him, I just don't know that it's proper for the Thunder to. I don't know. He only played one season. Let us know. What do you guys think? I mean, yes, there's definitely history there. Playing his first 2 years in the league in Oklahoma City, he's ingrained in the Oklahoma basketball, community. Maybe he makes like the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame just for the roles that he played. Like maybe that's the way you honor him. But I don't know. From at MA Lowry 24, what is your favorite day of the week to watch a Thunder game? Mine is Friday. I mean, Friday's pretty great. I honestly, when it comes down to days of the week during the season, I like a good Sunday afternoon game. I think those are awesome. I kind of like an early to midweek Thunder game too. But my life is also a lot different than most people when it comes to watching Thunder games. My Fridays are just so busy, and I'm usually doing so many things Fridays because I'm do the fry pod early, slam and jam that day, have to get all my ducks in a row to get that show going. It's usually not the greatest day for me. Just a lot of times because I'm up too early. I'm working on a bunch of stuff throughout the day. Fridays are usually not my favorite day for a Thunder game because of that. It's just too busy. Let's see. At Francis OKC, jumping way ahead of ourselves. In a perfect world, if we return to the finals, who'd be the most fun, still realistic Eastern Conference team for the Thunder to play against? I was saying this even this past year. The New York Knicks would be incredible. To have the finals back in Madison Square Garden would be fun in general for a basketball fan. And then to play the Knicks, a storied franchise, the fan base is insane. It's incredible. That would be the one. That's got to be the one. Easily. Let's see. In the chat. Okay. Zay G6626. Do you think KD will get his jersey retired eventually? The fans wouldn't go for it, but I'm sure the org has contemplated it. I'm sure he will. I'm confident he will. I don't know how long it will be. I don't know how long that will take. It's probably not right after he retires. But at some point, yes, I would be shocked if he never got his jersey retired. That would feel weird. That would feel really, really weird. Let's see. How do the current and recent departed Thunder players trade value compared to their original draft position, i.e., pick position, then pick or number of picks now? We can go over a few of those. I think I understand this question correctly. I'd be glad to go over a few of the recent guys and where they were picked, and talk about their value. So you really have to just go a little bit further. So going to the 23 draft, Cason Wallace was picked 10th. I think he goes higher than that in a redraft. He is probably between like the 6, 7, 8 range is probably where he is now. Other guys that jumped up was probably Derek Lively jumped up. Let's see. Anybody else? This is not the greatest draft. Yeah, because you look ahead, like Hendricks, Jarris Walker, he probably jumps both those guys. You can make an argument that he jumps Anthony Black as well, just because Anthony Black just has not been able to shoot it yet. Coulibaly is probably dependent on situation. I like Coulibaly. He's been up and down, but he's extremely young. So you could say that he would be in like the 6 or 7 range in a redraft, which is great. Like that's how you want to see it. clearly from the 22 draft, you have Chet, which you could argue he could be 1 or 2. Honestly, JDub from 12. The Hoop Collective guys did a redraft the other day, and they had JDub going number 1, which I think makes total sense. And it goes back to like even the Kawhi comp that was given earlier. Like if you know you could get a guy that's that good, then yeah. So yeah, that's incredible value. Usman Jang, probably not a first rounder at this point. I mean, there's a lot of guys in the second round, including Jay Will and Andrew Nimhard was the 31st pick, that you just know that they can play already. So and perhaps he's like toward the end of the first round. Maybe there's not enough good players, but yeah, that was a reach. And you swing and miss. That's the draft. Like there's not one team that's perfect. And that getting Chet, Dub, and Jay Will in a draft is about as perfect as it gets. Josh Giddey in 21. Josh was picked 6th. I mean, guys that have jumped, Josh. I mean, you could argue between him and Jalen Green. That's like, I would take Josh over Jalen Green. So there's one guy that he jumped. He probably does not jump Suggs, Barnes, Mobley, Cade Cunningham. I think Franz Wagner jumps ahead of all those guys. I think Şengün jumps ahead of all those guys. I think Trey Murphy jumps ahead of all those guys. I think Jalen Johnson jumps ahead of those guys. Quentin Grimes is a question. Cam Thomas is fun, but I would still take Josh Giddey over Cam Thomas. Herb Jones is a question, but I'd still probably take Giddey. So Giddey's probably somewhere in like the 10 to 11 range, so falls in value there, but still a really good player and one that is clearly not in the Thunder anymore. Trey Mann was taken 18th. Trey's a nice player. Ultimately did not make it with the Thunder. Hopefully this next deal with the Hornets works out for him and that he gets a good opportunity, but he's probably further back in the first round. Aaron Wiggins, 55th pick in that draft. Jeremiah Robinson Earl was 32nd. He's probably just frankly not in the draft. And then Aaron Wiggins rises to the first round, no question. And it's probably like a mid-first round pick. That was an incredible pick, still with the Thunder. I don't know if I understood that question at all, but that's where I took it. Okay, next question. We have just a few left. At Ambivalent 2964, in what ways do you see the Thunder evolving in 2026, especially in terms of half-court offense? Which players do you see getting more minutes than they did last year? Which players do you see getting less? We talked a little bit about improvements and evolutions. I still think passing is one that they just need to get better at as a whole, as a team. I just think they need to learn to move the ball better. And I think that's something that will come with time. As far as like more or less minutes, it's tough because a lot of that happens due to age or roles changing. I mean, if we're looking at minutes per game, which is probably not the right one, I'd probably look at total minutes. The thing is, like, if Chet's healthy, I mean, he only played 877 minutes. I mean, he's going to play 2,000 minutes if he plays. So the guys that will get less minutes, I mean, Hartenstein might get less minutes. He played 1,500 minutes. He might get a little bit less. I think Kenrich will get less. He played 1,100 minutes. That'll go down. I think Jay Will is an interesting one just because you have those two bigs already. You have Thomas Sorber coming up. He played almost 800 minutes last year. I think he's a guy that could deserve more minutes. AJ is going to play a little bit more. Isaiah Joe played 1,600 minutes. Maybe that goes down a little bit. But it's tough. It's a balancing act for Mark in the regular season for sure to try to figure this out. At BDub Guerrero, for the foreseeable future, what team in the West would you consider the Thunder's biggest competition? I mean, it's Denver. To me, it's Denver. I mean, Jokic is the guy. I think some people would be saying San Antonio. San Antonio's got a lot to prove as far as like building their team correctly and building it up to be a contender. Like, yeah, they've got Wemby. That's incredible. But De'Aaron Fox is their second best player. I don't know who else is going to be great for them. I mean, you can make assumptions about guys moving forward, like what does Stephon Castle become? I think that's a big one for sure. Can they develop any of their wings is a question. Dylan Harper, obviously, who they just got in the draft. Like those guys have to like really develop. They have to really become what people think they can be. And if they do, then yeah, San Antonio can get there, but they still have a lot to prove. They haven't made the playoffs. So not me like totally doubting that they're capable. It's just we just need to see it. So to me, it's probably waiting on what San Antonio can do, but it's really Denver. Denver's really good. At Gavin MI 855-19761. Can you rank some of the schedule release videos? Oh man, I haven't watched very many of them. I did like Minnesota's. They had like the thing that crushes stuff. So it crushes all kinds of objects. I'm not talking about that well, but I like that one. I think it's that, and then the Rockets one are the only ones that really hit my algorithm at all. I'm not searching these out. I'm telling you that. I'm not looking for these things. The Rockets one is crazy. I posted it on Twitter, and it's blown up with just pure hatred at all times. I've had to turn off the notifications on it. It's ridiculous. That video is crazy. That video is absolutely insane. I realize this is a realtor that does this is what he does for his job. It's an insane way to release the schedule. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's like one of those like social media grabs that people do that they like. It's like Mr. Beast being at the All-Star game. It's like, why is this happening? Like, who wants this? We know these things are popular. And I think like the league and even teams and just people in general and businesses like don't necessarily get that like, wait, like we don't necessarily want these people on all these different things. And having that be the schedule release makes no sense whatsoever. But it got them some attention. We're even talking about it on this show. So there you go. Chrissy Rogers wants to know, have you read Boomtown? Yes, I have. It's a very good book. It reminds me I need to get my friend Sam Anderson on the pod at some point to talk about his perspective on the championship. So appreciate you asking that question because I do need to get Sam on the pod. If you haven't read Boomtown, you really should. It's a really, really good book. It's a pleasure to meet Sam. I met Sam for the first time during the finals. He's here. There's got to be an addendum written to it. There's got to be one. So looking forward to that. But yeah, go check out Boomtown if you haven't read it yet. It's just like tells like the story of Oklahoma City is what it is. And like the Thunder are a huge part of it. So last question from at Trust the Void. If you were drafting guys from Thunder and Rockets to build a team, how many picks until you get to a Rockets player? Oh yeah, B Kelly in the chat. B Kelly 625. No more Kevin Hart, please. Yeah, it's like, what do we like? Why? Why do we do that? Why do we do that? It's crazy. Okay. Drafting players from the Thunder and Rockets. Obviously, Shea, JDub, number 1, number 2. And then, I mean, to me, and you can call me a homer, I want Chet. Next is probably Kevin or maybe Amin Thompson. And then it's probably one or the other, and then Şengün. So it's probably like depending on who you are, some people may prefer Kevin or Amen over Chet, which I think is just wrong when it comes to like the impact that he makes defensively, and then what I think the steps he's going to make offensively are. But I would say the third pick, and then it's probably like some Rockets guys in a row, I would assume, where it's KD, Amen, and Şengün in whatever order you'd like. And then we're probably back to OKC with like Isaiah Hartenstein and guys like that. But it's an interesting question. I think the Rockets are going to be really good. That's going to be a really good regular season team. But to me, like knowing that the three best players are on the Thunder, and certainly the two best players are on the Thunder, should give. I mean, not that the Thunder fans don't feel confident. You just won the NBA championship. But I do think that the Rockets have a little bit of a ways to go, and they took like this big leap to get Kevin, which I'm not saying they shouldn't have done, but it's going to artificially put them into a place where they're going to eventually fall back. I don't know. It just puts you in a weird spot. I'm interested to see how it all develops for them. But this year, it puts pressure on them to have to win now because Kevin is older. We don't know how many more years he's got. It's tough. It's tough. Let's see. In the chat, let's see if there's any other questions. At Everyone Needs to Smile, Presti has tended to trade or extend rookies before their fourth year, which is more likely for Oos. He might extend cheap. I mean, I just don't think you can give him an extension at this point. I think that it's more likely he gets traded for sure. At ZayG6626, what do you think about this, Andrew? Hot take. The way that Hart has embraced the city and embraced the organization, there's no way we would let him leave. I'd rather trade a few other guys before him. Not a hot take. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. He has embraced the city. He has done more in his short time with the Thunder than a lot of Thunder guys have done in the past. It is incredible, the connection that he has with the community. And it may just be true that, like, yeah, they won't let him go, and he also doesn't want to go. So those two realities could be true for iHeart. So, yeah. I don't think it's a hot take. I can't sit here and tell you that I know what's going to happen with this roster, with him, or any of that. I have no idea. I have no clue what's going to happen there. I do know that they're going to have options on the table for them. That's all I know. And yeah, would it be better to keep Isaiah Hartenstein around? Yes. 1, he's one of the best 5 players. 2, he's incredible for the community. And I think he's good for the locker room too. Like, I just think overall he's an extremely positive presence for the team and for the city. So yeah, I'm with that. I think that even though financially it makes sense to let him go, I think there are a lot of other factors at play, and we'll just have to see what wins out. We'll just have to see. I think that will be an interesting storyline over the next couple of years. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to this solo edition of Down to Dunk. I appreciate you guys subscribing. Hope everybody's doing well. Getting kids back in school, all of that. Super grateful to do this. Super grateful that you guys listen. Please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That's one way that you can help me. My bosses look at all of them. Just letting you know. They look at all the 5-star reviews that come through. There's actually a channel on our Slack where they come through. So if you want to leave a very positive review, that would be incredible. It'd be a gift that you can give me. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday.
I'm down to dunk. I'm down to dunk.